Welcome to Millennium TV News. This is Ifat Fatima with top stories. Clinton's foreign policy plan would start World War III, Trump. Clinton lead holds steady. 2016 Mediterranean refugee deaths hit record 3,800 UN. 22 children killed in airstrikes on Syrian school, UNICEF. Forces ready in weeks for battle to retake ISIS capital, Defense Secretary. Canada to move forward deportation process of Noor Chowdhury. Awami League announces names of its secretaries. Those were the headlines, now the detail. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has said his rival Hillary Clinton's foreign policy plan in Syria would trigger World War III. He also said the US should focus on defeating so-called Islamic State rather than removing Syria's president. Mrs. Clinton has proposed a no-fly zone over Syria. The top US military chief has said that could spell conflict with Russian jets in the region. The Clinton campaign accused Mr. Trump of playing to Americans' fears. Mr. Trump also attacked Republicans for not uniting behind his candidacy. If we had party unity, we couldn't lose this election to Hillary Clinton, he told Reuters news agency at Trump National Doral Golf Resort in Miami, Florida. Hillary Clinton's lead in the national horse race has held steady despite some flashes of tightening in state polls over the last week, according to CNN's most recent poll of polls. The average of the 5 most recent national surveys shows Clinton with 47% support and Donald Trump at 41%. Libertarian Gary Johnson has seen his standing drop since last week by 2 percentage points to 5%, and Jill Stein of the Green Party earns 2%. That's similar to the margin that Clinton led by in CNN's poll of polls when she led Trump 47% to 39%. Trump has inched up slightly in some state surveys, including a 2-point lead in a Florida survey. 2 new national polls provided stark contrasts on the state of the race. A USA Today Suffolk University poll found Clinton with a 9-point national edge, 47% to 38%. Johnson took home 4% and Stein 2%. That survey polled 1,000 likely voters with a margin of errors of 3 percentage points. But a Fox News poll found Clinton only 3 points ahead nationally, 44% to 41%, with Johnson pulling in 7% and 3% for Stein. That poll, which surveyed 1,221 likely voters, had a margin of error of plus or minus 2.5 percentage points. The CNN poll of polls, which does not have a margin of error, includes the USA Today Suffolk poll, the ABC News poll, the CNN Overseas poll, the Quinnipiac University poll, and the Fox News poll. Donald Trump is castigated as a dangerous demagogue whose claims of a rigged election are eroding U.S. democracy. But President Barack Obama said his most common reaction to the GOP nominee is just to laugh. During a taping of ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live television program, the late-night host asked the president if his response to the Republican during the presidential debates was to let out a chuckle. Most of the time, Obama responds to cheers. Later, detailing the responsibilities of his job, Obama declared, "I don't tweet at 3 a.m. about people who insult me." It was only the latest in a string of hits from Obama on Trump and Republicans as Election Day nears. Speaking abroad, Air Force One White House spokesman Josh Earnest said Obama would be campaigning ardently for Democrats in the coming days. The president will spend a significant amount of time traveling next week in support of not just Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign, but Democrats further down the ballot as well, he said. Airstrikes that hit a school in Syria's rebel-held Idlib province killed 22 children and 6 teachers, the UN Children's Agency UNICEF said. This is a tragedy, it is an outrage, and if deliberate, it is a war crime, said UNICEF Director Anthony Lake. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said warplanes, either Russia or Syrian, carried out 6 strikes in the village of Has, including on a school complex, killing 11 school children. Lake said the school compound was repeatedly attacked, adding that it may be the deadliest attack on a school since the war began more than 5 years ago. When will the world's revulsion at such barbarity be matched by instances that this must stop, added the UNICEF director. Asked about the attack, Russian Ambassador Vitaly Churkin responded, "I hope we were not involved. It's easy for me to say no, but I am a responsible person. I need to see what our Minister of Defense is going to say," he told reporters. Syrian government forces and their Russian ally have been accused by Western powers and right groups of carrying out indiscriminate attacks on civilian infrastructure. More than 300,000 people have been killed in Syria and over half of the country's population displaced since the conflict began in March 2011 with anti-government protests. At least 3,800 refugees have died in the Mediterranean Sea while trying to reach Europe so far this year, making 2016 the deadliest year on record, according to the UN Refugee Agency. William Spindler, the spokesman for the Geneva-based agency, announced the grim milestone on Twitter. "We are receiving more reports of deaths in the Med," Spindler tweeted recently. "We can now confirm that at least 3,800 people have died, making 2016 the deadliest ever. From 1 death for every 269 arrivals last year in 2016, the likelihood of dying has spiraled to 1 in 88, he added in a statement published on the agency's website. More refugee deaths were reported off the Libyan shore, as the EU's Border and Coast Guard Agency Frontex warned that rescue missions near the troubled North African nation were getting ever more dangerous. The Doctors Without Borders charity said one of its latest rescue vessels picked up 25 bodies and 107 survivors from an overcrowded rubber boat some 48 kilometers off the coast of Libya. Sea rescue operations are becoming a race through a maritime graveyard, the head of MSF Migration Operations, Stefano Argenziano, said in an online statement. Defense Secretary Ash Carter said it will be only a matter of weeks before the US and its allies are ready to drive ISIS from Raqqa, its symbolic capital in Syria. The preparations come amid fears the terror group is plotting an attack somewhere around the world from inside the city. Carter told reporters at a NATO meeting in Brussels that getting troops in place for the siege of Raqqa would be undertaken within weeks, but declined to offer more specifics. It has been long planned that the US baked assault on Mosul, which started earlier this month. Iraq and Raqqa would be overlapping, Carter said. The top U.S. commander in Iraq, General Stephen Townsend, told reporters via satellite that it is imperative to get isolation in place around Raqqa because intelligence reports show there is significant external operations attacks planning taking place inside the city. Carter said the military has the resources we need to undertake the operations in both Mosul and Raqqa at the same time. Carter addressed the issue in between meetings with his NATO counterparts, where the anti-ISIS mission is expected to be a major focus. The UK's service sector helped the economy to grow faster than expected in the 3 months after the Brexit vote. Official figures have indicated the economy expanded by 0.5% in the July to September period, according to the Office for National Statistics. That was lower than the 0.7% rate in the previous quarter, but stronger than analysts' estimates of about 0.3%. There is little evidence of a pronounced effect in the immediate aftermath of the vote, the ONS said. The stronger than expected growth will further dampen expectations that the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee will cut interest rates next week. Belgian political leaders have reached a consensus in support of the CETA trade deal between the EU and Canada, Prime Minister Charles Michel has said. He said an agreement had been found at the latest round of negotiations with Belgium's French-speaking communities who had been holding up the deal. A signing ceremony was cancelled after the region of Wallonia vetoed the agreement. A Belgian deal would still have to be approved by the other 27 EU members. Under Belgium's federal system, the national government cannot sign the deal unless all 6 regional parliaments approve it. French-speaking Wallonia, a faithfully socialist region of 3.6 million people, had been leading objections to the deal, demanding stronger safeguards on labor, environmental and consumer standards. Bangladesh gross domestic product was recorded 7.1% in the 2015-16 fiscal year, riding on its industries, Planning Minister AHM Mustafa Kamal said. During the fiscal, the per capita income increased to $1,465, he said, citing the finalized statistics of the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics at his office. Growth in the agriculture section was recorded at 2.79%, industry at 11.9%, and the service sector at 6.25%, the planning minister told the media. Global wildlife populations have fallen by 58% since 1970, a report says. The Living Planet assessment by the Zoological Society of London and WWF suggests that if the trend continues, that decline could reach 2/3 among the vertebrates by 2020. The figure suggests that animals living in lakes, rivers and wetlands are suffering the biggest losses. Human activity, including habitat loss, wildlife trade, pollution and climate change, is attributed to the declines. Dr. Mike Barrett, head of science and policy at WWF, said, "It's pretty clear under business as usual. We will see continued declines in these wildlife populations. But I think now we have reached a point where there isn't really any excuse to let this carry on. We know what the causes are and we know the scale of the impact that humans are having on nature and wildlife population. It is now down to us to act." A 5.5 magnitude quake struck at 1910 local time near Viso in Misurata province, officials said. It was followed 2 hours later by a 6.1 magnitude tremor in the same area. Several people were hurt, but there were no immediate reports of deaths. The quakes come 2 months after a powerful earthquake struck slightly to the south, killing 298 people. The earthquakes were felt across central Italy, including in the capital, Rome, where buildings shook and doors and windows rattled. Tens of people were reported hurt, but only 4 people suffered serious injuries, Italy's civil protection chief Fabrizio Curcio said. The emergency services in Rome said affected areas are still assessing the situation. The second earthquake was considerably stronger than the first and numerous smaller aftershocks have occurred. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has formally inaugurated the dredged-up Mongla-Ghasiakhali River route. The Premier launched the channel through video conference from Ganobhabon. Shipping Minister Shahjahan Khan, Shipping Secretary Ashok Madhav Roy and Bangladesh Inland Water Transport Authority Chairman Commodore M. Mozammal Haq were present at Bagherhat Point. About 62.12 lakh cubic meter soil was removed from the Mongla-Ghasiakhali channel to make the 31-kilometer river route operational. The channel will help to carry imported goods in large vessels from the sea to Mongla port. father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, first introduced the Mongla-Ghashiakhali River route by excavating the channel in 1972 to 1974. Canada has agreed to move forward the deportation process of Noor Chowdhury, the self-confessed and convicted killer of father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, with relevant departments of its government. We would take up the matter with relevant departments of Canadian government and revert, said Canadian Foreign Minister Stephen Dayan during a meeting with his Bangladesh counterpart A.H. Mahmood Ali in Ottawa. During the meeting, both the ministers discussed at length the possible deportation of Noor Chowdhury, who was evading death sentence living in Canada from 1996. As a follow-up to the meeting held between Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Canadian Premier Justin Trudeau, both the foreign ministers discussed the question of bringing Noor Chowdhury to justice, as Mahmood Ali proposed to devise an effective mechanism to move forward with the deportation. The Bangladesh Awami League has announced some names of its new Central Committee after 2 days of its National Council. Newly elected General Secretary of Awami League Obaidul Qadir made the announcement at the Awami League Chief's political office in Dhanmondi. The new committee was comprised of 17 Presidium members and 4 Joint General Secretaries. 2 new faces have been tagged: Inamul Haq Shamim, ex-Bangladesh Chhatra League President, and Barrister Mohibul Hassan Chowdhury. Dr. Hassan Mahmood is nominated as Publicity and Publication Secretary, while Abdul Matin Khusru is Law Secretary. Other secretaries are Mrinal Kanti Das, Tipu Munshi, and Asim Kumar Ukil. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurated Child Helpline of the Social Welfare Ministry and along with 2 other projects under Food and Shipping Ministries. The Child Helpline (CHL) will be administered under the guidance of Social Welfare Department of the Ministry of Social Welfare, was established with financial and technical support of the UNICEF. The helpline will offer protection against child abuses at homes, schools, workplaces, institutions and in public areas.
যখনই কোনো শিশু কোনো বিপদে পড়বে, তারা এই যে 1098 নম্বরে ফোন করে তারা যে সাহায্যটা পাবে, এটা তাদের জন্য অনেক নিরাপদ হবে এবং নিরাপত্তা দিতে সকলে উদ্যোগ নেবে। আর সেই সাথে সাথে যারা কোনো অপকর্ম করতে চেষ্টা করবে, তারাও একটু ভীত সন্ত্রস্ত থাকবে যে ধরনের কাজ করলে পরে তাদের সঙ্গে সঙ্গে ধরা পড়ে যাবে বা তাদের বিরুদ্ধে যে শাস্তিমূলক ব্যবস্থা নেওয়া হবে, এ ব্যাপারে তারাও সচেতন হবে।
A Native American group protested outside one of the most anticipated World Series baseball games to decry what has been described as the most offensive logo in U.S. sports, the Chief Wahoo caricature used by the Cleveland Indians. The long-standing logo, which appears on their team jerseys, depicts a grinning, red-faced cartoon with a feather headband. Hundreds of Native American activists staged their protest as the game was played out at the Progressive Field Baseball Park, the first of 7 matches between the rivals and the first World Series game for the Cleveland Indians in 2 decades. What we hope to accomplish is to bring new awareness to this issue and have it resolved by eliminating the name and the logo, civil rights activist Philip Yango had told Al Jazeera ahead of the protest. Similar protests have been over the years, often on the opening day of major games. The largest domestic of the 4-season T20 tournament in Bangladesh, the Bangladesh Premier League (BPL), is going to inaugurate on 4th of November 2016. Unlike other 3 previous seasons, this year's BPL will not entertain the crowds with dazzling opening ceremony crowded by Bollywood film stars. One of the members of BPL Governing Council, Sheikh Sohail, said, "We haven't found enough time to arrange an opening ceremony of BPL due to ongoing bilateral series against England. We had no time to contact with Indian film stars." But Sheikh Sohail informed a new feature to cheer up the crowd has been decided to add in the feature of BPL. He said, "We have included a new mode of entertainment for the crowd, that is, musical concert. Prominent and rising musicians and musical band groups will perform on stage beside the field during the interval of 2 matches. The musicians from Close Up 1 and Channel I Music Competition will present there. Eminent musician Maqsood, band group Chirkut and Warfaze will also make their presence on stage." The BPL Governing Council member also assured about lighting up of fireworks during the match presentation after every match. Along with that, a semi-concert will also be arranged 2 hours before the final match of the tournament. Before ending, the headlines are once again. Clinton's foreign policy plan would start World War III, Trump. Clinton lead holds steady. 2016 Mediterranean refugee deaths hit record 3,800 UN. 22 children killed in airstrikes on Syrian school, UNICEF. Forces ready in weeks for battle to retake ISIS capital, Defense Secretary. Canada to move forward deportation process of Noor Chowdhury. Awami League announces names of its secretaries. This is all for now from Millennium TV News. To get any kind of news, please visit to our social website facebook.com/MillenniumTVUSA and youtube.com/MillenniumTVUSA. Besides, to get the most updated news, please log in to our website www.millenniumtv.net. Stay with Millennium. Allah Hafiz.